Dutch ship. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I have.
We have a large archive here of information. Now, another important point to mention is that, and we're jumping back and forth in time here, but there was Commander Perry. Now, this is connected to the Yokohama history, but he was here originally as an American. Now, we have a timeline here, which is very useful. 1641 to 1859 is the time period of international contact with Japan.
Yes. With all the ships arrived in Japan during those about 220 years. 6,400 Chinese ships arrived Nagasaki, and 540 Dutch ships arrived. The number is 1/10, but the Dutch ships are much larger. And
right.
to talk about the distance,
Yes.
the effort of Dutch is much larger than Chinese.
Right. Well, the Dutch have become, I suppose, also because of this journey to Japan, but also around the world, they have this innate adventurous spirit to go far. So that makes sense.
Yeah. And there was Russian,
one ship,
English, but they came on the later part of this 200 period.
Yes.
Not the purpose of friendly trade, but the purpose of invasion. So
Invasion, right? So there was a
they are not welcome.
there was a Russian invasion in 1804, and then there was an English invasion attempt in 1828. What happened there?
Okay, I'll talk about this English invasion. But they chased Dutch ship.
Is that right?
Because Dutch was conquered by France. And English and France was war.
The 100-year War, yes.
So English thought some Dutch ship might be escaping in this Nagasaki Bay, but after all, they didn't find any at the time. So the Russia is their purpose was to force Japan to open the port. Nagasaki. It's the same as Commander Perry's purpose. But they came too early.
Yes. Now tell us a little bit about Perry. Was he warmly received, and was he a friendly character, or was he feared?
Oh, he was a commander of a battleship, and when he first came to Japan, he came with he was leading 4 ships.
Right.
All the black steel ship with steam locomotive, steam engine, and with big cannons.
Wow.
And many Japanese, this is the first time for the Japanese to see this kind of ship. They're very afraid. They couldn't sleep, and they asked to Japan to open the port, and the government said, we have to ask. I'm a prime minister. We have to ask the emperor.
Yes.
Who is in Kyoto.
Right.
It takes a lot of time, for the emperor's decision.
Yeah.
So please come next year. So that is first Perry came 1853, and Perry came exactly next year.
He came exactly 1 year later.
Yeah.
He was keen.
Okay, we want to hear your answer.
Yeah.
And government became in trouble because they did not receive emperor's answer yet. But they forced using their cannons, gun.
Because of the emperor's delay. Was the emperor hesitant? Was he fearful?
Oh, because he did not know very much about the world.
Yes.
Yeah. So if he is informed well enough, he would have made the best decision.
And a quicker decision, I suppose.
But one of the leaders who decided the decision to open, he was assassinated afterwards.
Was he assassinated in Kyoto?
Not in Kyoto, but he was in Edo, Tokyo. He was assassinated in Kyoto.
What? In Tokyo?
In Tokyo.
In Tokyo. I see, because there's a famous bridge in Kyoto where somebody was assassinated.
Yes.
Who was that?
It was Ryoma Sakamoto.
Yes.
Sakamoto Ryoma.
Yes.
He was assassinated in Kyoto.
For being a hidden Christian, right?
Not hidden Christian, but pro and anti opening the country,
He was pro opening the country. And he was assassinated for being accused of anti-Buddhism, wasn't he? As well.
And so Japan was split into two countries, parts. So it was a kind of civil war.
That was the time of the big civil war. The time of the famous film starring Tom Cruise, The Last Samurai, wasn't it?
Right.
That time period. So watch The Last Samurai if you haven't seen it already, because that's an amazing film. And here in Nagasaki, the battleship island was filmed for, I think, a James Bond movie.
James Bond movie. Yes.
Was there any filming here for The Last Samurai? Do we know? Was there any filming done here in the mountains of Nagasaki?
No, I'm not sure. Maybe not.
Maybe not. But somewhere in Japan, because there are the very famous mountainscapes of Japan in that film, which was very popular in the 90s or millennium, the turn of the millennium. You're watching The Culture Cave. I'm here with Mr. Kinoshita, who is a UN peace volunteer and also a tour guide and historian of Nagasaki City. And we will be continuing again as we cover in depth the timeline of the Nagasaki history and East meets West.